Again for the game, no subs in for Echo Fox. And we'll see what this lineup can do one more time against TSM at the top of the standings. 9-4 versus 4-9. We're in game 3.
And this is the first time in, it seems like at least a couple matches that they haven't been making subs. You know, even after wins, they've been making subs. So they're sticking with this same 5-man roster the whole way through. This makes a lot more sense to me. Give the team some time to adjust from game to game, to try to learn their opponents, to try to, you know, react properly, and we'll see what they can get done. Picks and bans may be pretty important, as we have seen, you know, some things kind of fall to the wayside. As you said, Echo Fox was able to get a couple of the picks that were banned out in game 1 in game 2 and be very successful.
Huge. The Camille coming online exactly when it needed to. And the Blitzcrank really starting things off. Biofrost Flash, they blew at like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Did come up with a kill at 5.5 just before he was about to get that flashback. He felt safe to roam.
I mean, that's what got them the first blood. That's what got Acadian ahead. And these are all the little things that have been able to make a big difference for the team. I think that Gate did an excellent job roaming around. A lot of focus on Jax. People really kind of respecting Hauntzer's Jax, and I do believe he brought it out against Dignitas in a 2-0 loss for TSM, though. But people still obviously showing their respect over. He must be doing well with this in scrims, and people are afraid of Hauntzer on that carry team.
It's one of those late game time bombs. I mean, how do you match that up against Camille Jax? You guys solo each other
Jax is actually very good into Camille.
Yeah.
I do think that if you want to play Camille, you should be banning Jax. I think that is a very favorable matchup. And mostly it's because of the interaction with hookshot. So when he's going for the hookshot on you, you simply press your counter strike. He stuns you, but he can't actually get any follow-up damage out onto you during it, and he will actually get CC'd out of that, and then you can return the damage. So it's very hard for him to effectively use his hookshot on you, and your scaling can match very, very well. So it's like, it becomes tough for the Camille in that 1v1.
I was wondering, it has been left up finally in this matchup. The Elise gets picked. Obviously, that will not be a Kane, but it's still fun to hover. But yeah, the Elise actually through a lot of matchups is seen on that blue side fan face.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, above Cho'Gath, above Nunu, above a lot of these tanks that we've seen some teams be very successful with, really the only person I'm seeing bring out a lot is kind of Dignitas for Shrimp, bringing out Nunu a fair bit. They're having a lot of success with it, but a lot of other teams are not replicating that, or not actually bringing it out themselves. And to be fair, I think that Nunu is a champion that requires you to be pretty practiced on it. While the mechanics of it are very easy, you need to really understand where to go, where to be, how to counter jungle, like how to do these at a very, very high level, and know your limits. Because if it does fall apart, then you really don't add anything.
Yeah. Adding a little Lee Sin into this game. Acadian switches off the Kazakhs 2 straight plays now onto the Lee Sin, as it's still available, but he is up against the Elise now. So might want to be able to match the aggression Haunter could be coming into his jungle with.
And we're getting back to the same kind of opportunity that TSM had in game 1, where they could have gone for a Camille here and elected not to do so. In game 1, they actually went for the Karma as that 3rd pick. Camille can match up pretty well against the Rumble, can outscale and win that 1v1, especially with jungle help. We know how good Haunter is on the Camille, but they are going to go for their support pick here once again, and not deciding to prioritize that pick.
Tom Kench gets locked in. Double Lift gets some extra safety this game.
Yeah, to me, the Tom Kench does not make that much sense in this case. Yes, there is some CC coming out, you know, Fate's Call, and you could hopefully eat up your AD carry so he doesn't get kicked in and things like this, but it's not a Thresh, it's not like an Elise and things like this that have a really obvious kind of big long CCs that you can eat them out of, or even Morgana. They maybe try to push them away from drafting that kind of stuff, so it still can work. And you also could be saying, okay, well, if they're not going to get Thresh, what are they going to draft? Maybe a Braum, right? Well, Tom Kench matches up pretty well with that, so that can make some sense. Maybe a bit of a preemptive pick.
See how they ban out. Before we get to those final picks, what will be available? LeBlanc for Froggen. He might just go back to that Corki, as a safe pick for Haunter gets taken out of this side as well. A few more seconds left, looking possibly back at the mid lane. If they ban the Corki, he gets something else that he likes to play, and he may even just get the Talia if they don't take it on the side of TSM for the first pick.
Beerson has been very happy to play that Talia. They're going to keep banning out the Lucian, which has been kind of a Froggen special. So we'll see if he's going to go right back to the Corki. And if TSM doesn't take it, very likely he will, right? There's no real reason to not just keep picking the Corki when Froggen is very comfortable on it, and it has been very effective for them throughout this series and really throughout the season. Has been one of the best picks for Froggen.
Doublelift's pick. He begins to type. Or what did he type? Patience. Oh!
Okay, Camille was not banned out in the second phase this time.
Now.
So that is a change from game 1 where FOX did actually second phase ban out the Camille. This time they decide to leave it up and TSM does go for that option. They have a strong early game jungler. They now have Camille, which is a pretty good matchup into the Rumble, especially as you scale further into the game. And another thing that is going to make it really tough for the Rumble is Tahm Kench actually roams around the map very well and can help in those side lanes. But Alistar, not a pick we see a lot.
Not at all. A little bit more lately, trying to fit a tank somewhere back into the composition when you need one on this meta. And it looks like we will finalize a pick on Team Solo Mid. 10 seconds. It will be the Galio lock-in. It's going to be Bash Brothers party here for Haunter, Svenskeren, and Bjergsen.
And this is something that I had actually talked about from last week that TSM did. They ran this exact combo. Look for Bjergsen to constantly be ultimating to the side lane with Haunter. They are going to try to snowball Haunter against Brandini on this Camille. That is pretty much inevitable. A lot of it's going to come down to how well can Brandini play, how well can FOX play around this. Because you have two semi-global ultimates with Galio and Tahm Kench, who can both go to the Camille and try to put him ahead. You have Svenskeren, one of the best diving junglers on this Elise, who can look to try to put him ahead as well. And if Camille gets too ahead, there's no one on FOX who's going to be able to answer him in that 1v1 at all.
And this really lines up with actually what we saw TSM doing in the game 1. It was a Jarvan on that side lane with a Talia roaming down each time to take Brandini down. Like you said, now it's going to be a Camille and a Galio going to that side lane. So they keep the same kind of structure to keep playing that way within their compositions here. And now into game 3, hashtag Fox win, hashtag TSM win, as we are almost onto the Rift. Sure, FOX is feeling very good about coming off that last win. I'm sure TSM is kind of in a middle mode right now, saying we should not have let that happen. And I feel like they're going to come out very strong on this one.
And I think TSM can point to a couple key moments in the game where they made some mistakes that they could actually fix up, and not going to have to worry about that too much as we are going to be getting into the game. But I mean, Galio, you touched on it. It's a very similar kind of role to Talia as far as being able to roam the side lanes. Obviously, very different type of champion. Yes, it is a tank instead of that mage, and different damage profiles and so on and so forth. But it's filling a similar playstyle where he can threaten the side lanes and he can try to combo up with Haunter and really get him ahead. He can also threaten to kind of go bot lane and try to put that lane ahead. So I think it makes a lot of sense as a pick for TSM, and it's nice that TSM has really been able to kind of move into this mode where they're able to play so many different things in the mid lane and play them effectively.
That's what we were looking for. Crowd has a fever.
Only cure. Some more cowbell rib.
That's what it is. Looking at the bot lane, interesting starts as we see. We've talked about it a little bit. See Wild Turtle and other gens starting with the ring. Doublelift chooses the sword this time, and Doran's blade, not huge. You're kind of getting the same damage. Just helps your mana regen in lane, and your grenade has a bit of that ratio on it.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where we're seeing some AD carries start to actually go AP blues and stuff. Even on some of these champions, we've seen AP blues on Jhin. We've seen that on MF. So people are starting to mix it up more. Certainly the most common is still, Doran's Blade or Doran's Shield and just magic resistance blues. People are experimenting more with it. Certainly has its pros and cons. I mean, when you're playing against an AP threat and you have no flat MR and you don't build a Hex Shrinker or QSS or anything, you really can get shredded down if they go flat bend.
It's all about that. Who did something different? Are you running one crit rune in your jungle page? Are you going to get that kill because of the crit rune? I find that stuff super interesting when players come up with something new.
Yeah, if it gives you that advantage, it can be really, really big. And this top lane matchup is going to be pretty important. As we're going to see Brandini trying to shove in Haunter, but when you shove in, you put yourself in that vulnerable spot where Haunter can set up the ganks for Svenskeren, and tracking jungle pathing becomes that much more important because of this. We also have to remember how explosive the engage is going to be from FOX with this Alistar and Fate's Call combo. That's nothing we've seen a lot. It's only the 4th showing actually for Alistar this split. So someone who has seen some play, but not a lot.
pressure here from Biofrost, keeping brush control. It's easy farm though for Mash as it comes into the turret. We do not see Acadian actually heading for Svenskeren. They're on basically the same jungle path, so it could get a little spicy towards the top side here as they meet if they do decide to go for that gank and counter gank.
Acadian going for the full clear, not something that you see that often from Lee Sin. A lot of people will actually skip the Krugs. We do see Sven doing 3-camp clear bot side, taking his red, and he could already be going up this top side. He was spotted out by the ward, but Brandini not backing off.
They might say take it because Acadian's just on the backside. Oh, Haunter knows he's coming. They decide to turn it back after they see him on the ward, but it's still the fight.
What are they doing?
It looks like Haunter didn't want that, and Svenskeren went right back in to try to kill Acadian.
I mean, they were completely on a different page there.
Yeah.
You see Haunter actually going for Acadian. Svenskeren is going back in onto Acadian again after Haunter's running out. Like, they are completely split on targets. The Cocoon is used on Brandini, while Haunter used the hookshot on Acadian. Then Haunter's running out while Svenskeren's going in. That was a mess from TSM.
Nice lockup by Gate. He gets the roar in.
Either way, another first blood over for Echo Fox, and good job by Acadian to be able to pick that one up. He has been able to get the early advantage in the jungle every single time, but, I mean, Acadian is spotted out. They know that this is coming. So look what Haunter is doing. He is going back to peel over and attack Acadian. Then Svenskeren goes all the way in as Haunter is just trying to run out, really. It doesn't look like he wants to fight at all, and he just gets absolutely melted there.
That was almost perfect, too, for Brandini. He just Flame Spitter overloaded and was able to get all that extra damage in. It's perfect timing for them.
I mean, you're so squishy on the Elise when your Repel is already down, your Cocoon has already been used. Like, what can you actually get done there, right? Not a lot.
Good attack by Haunter. He needed to get that shield back for the magic damage. But still, Harpoon after Harpoon pushes Haunter back to his turret. Teleport is still up for him, but he's going to have to use it to get back. As Bjergsen gets some aggression in the mid lane. Great taunt flash to get out, but Acadian's pressure a little better here from lane to lane.
Certainly is. I mean, having that better pressure push on. We do see that Svenskeren going to catch him out.
Ooh, this is how fast it turns, though. The moment you think you're safe, the other team tries to grab the advantage. He's able to get out. Quick little safeguard to get himself back into a position
he needs to be careful. He could actually get eaten up. Had that root hit, he would have gotten actually eaten up there. And may have been in a lot of trouble. That is a good combo. I mean, if you can actually get the 2 stacks, Jhin roots you up, you can apply a 3rd stack and then utilize your Devour, and that's almost always a summoner or a kill in the early game if you can actually get one of those off.
It's like the reverse Jinx Tom Tenchling. You eat him last instead of spit him out onto the stun.
There you go.
For the lockup.
Bot lane doing very well for TSM. They have been consistently throughout this series. Has to be said. They have been able to always open up these big CS advantages. Yes, Echo Fox often is able to then kind of minimize it or catch back up, but still, you never want to be 23 CS down on the first base, right?
You don't?
Like, no, you don't. And I mean, especially because that first buy is that much weaker then, right? Like, yes, a couple longswords is not a bad buy, but Doublets is able to get his refillable. He's able to get a lot more there.
Wow, the rinse and repeats. They just kind of walk into these engagements, and Skeren's going to be able to do the same thing. Huge damage coming into Acadian. Bjergsen said, can we wait this one out? And Sven was definitely on board on the same page this time.
Yeah, he was there and able to come in and take down Acadian. Biofrost is here now as well. Froggen could be in a little bit of trouble. Will back off. And that was just simply a case of not having enough damage. Like, they had the CC and Gate is kind of locking him down, but Froggen was not there. Had Froggen been there, that would be a great play to go for. You know, attacking Bjergsen on this flashless Galio, but he's still very tanky, even just with the passive damage reduction when you're channeling your taunt. That plus Courage of Colossus is going to make him pretty hard to actually take down. So the fact that they didn't have Froggen there meant they didn't have enough DPS in the tank to actually get a kill.
Let's see this one more time.
So, I mean, the CC is actually charged up. He's chaining his CC very well, knocking it back in. This is all great, but Acadian doesn't have the damage to actually finish him off, and if you cannot burst him down, they can't kill him at all.
Squad of minions there as well.
Yeah.
That's going to do a bit more damage. They take down Acadian, so he gets a kill and a death, but Svenskeren gets himself back on the board with the same as they continue to hit the same clip in the jungle. However, on opposite sides this time, looks like they're going to give a little bit of safety to Acadian as he tries to get a roam in. Nope, he's going for Scuttle. Wrong call. They did swap lanes, though. putting Mash and Gate towards that top side.
Yeah, trying to shut down Haunter maybe a little bit in this 2v1. They also have the Lee Sin up here. They could look to try to set up a dive, but you see Tom Kench, Biofrost running up here very quickly. Svenskeren is coming up too, so they are looking to back up their top laner, and it was definitely an important kill for Svenskeren to get, both for confidence and just kind of keep him relevant as far as the gold game goes. But this is a pretty smart swap. Mash and Gate were losing the 2v2, so just go straight up to top, get this damage down on the turret, and try to find some sort of an advantage.
Is the Cloud Drake yet? Or next, should say, to start things off, so that'll just hang out for a while. Back to lane goes Froggen. He's going to be zooming back this time, almost coming out with the package. Mid lane coverage, actually 3 members here for Echo Fox. So they look like they're going to try to swap the lane back. They're just saying, hey, we'll get a bit of damage on the top side. Then we're going to go bot and swap Brandini in. And he may be able to take that down himself as we go ahead and fight Haunter in the bot side.
A little bit late on the swap, though, and the wave didn't actually get fully pushed into the turret. So Brandini just kind of stacked up a wave for Haunter to actually farm there. And then goes top, where he's going to probably lose most of, if not all of his wave. So they are a little bit slow on their actual lane assignments and on their swaps. And if we can look up to the top side, yeah, we're going to see that the whole wave is actually going to go down before he gets up there. They're going to be losing some turret damage. But eventually, in this 1v2, he can actually throw his equalizer down to clear out a wave. That's what he's trying to do. So Biofrost is trying to zone him out. And he will be able to clear out the wave. So they're hoping that that gives them enough time to actually then knock down the turret on the bot side.
Still looking for that first turret blood. It's such a back and forth in this one, and they're gonna have to wait for the minion wave. Froggen being chased in mid lane now. Hextech Ultimatum is gonna keep him very locked in. Hero's entrance from Bjergsen. It looks like they may be able to lock this one down, but he gets out. Flash Valkyrie gives him enough distance, and that aggression pulled around TSM's resources, and first turret goes to Fox.
Echo Fox able to pull it off. I mean, despite losing that 2v2 bot lane, they do manage to have the Rumble clear out the waves, buy them enough time to get that first turret. They have fallen down kind of and stayed at the deficit in the CS, but despite that, getting the earlier turret is going to be nice for them, and they're actually dead even, a little bit up in gold, maybe 50 gold, 100 gold, whatever. Either way, things are looking pretty good for Echo Fox in their early game, and TSM also going to be pretty happy about this. Anytime you can have a relatively passive game, as long as Haunter is getting farm on this Camille, like that's really going to be their big win condition that they're looking at.
Any of that CS discrepancy right now is just a double lift to Mash. Everybody else is near even across the board. Maybe 1 or 2 CS as they continue to farm out and damage each other in lane. It's the game we were not expecting. I should say series here from Echo Fox as well, but TSM towards the end of the split also starting to slide a little bit themselves.
Yeah, I mean, at least yesterday, right? You know, this weekend you can certainly say has not been their best. I mean, even if you win this series, you saw how well some of these other teams were able to deal with Echo Fox, how easy they made it look. And TSM is having a pretty highly contested series against Echo Fox. So Echo Fox can be happy with that.
Yeah, credit to them.
And they could still take this series, right? This could be an 0-2 weekend for TSM, which really would be tough for them and kind of hurt their chances for that first place finish. You know, they certainly want to buy, and there are 3 teams right now that are kind of right up there, Immortals, CLG, and TSM, and getting that playoff bye can be big.
See what the spikes and the caps are coming into game. It's been a bit slower on the kills here to start. At this point, Froggen last game had a few kills, over 120 or so CS. A better clip. You can see how things have kind of calmed down.
I mean, Froggen was already done his Triforce like a minute ago in the previous game because he had picked up 3 kills and had all that farm. Certainly not that accelerated pace this game, but he's still doing well for himself, farming it out quite well. And is going to be looking to scale up here. Haunter going straight for the Triforce this time. You often see people actually go Tiamat into Triforce on the Camille to have that additional wave clear, but he wants to go straight towards the Triforce, and that will give him more 1v1 power against Brandini on this Rumble when he does complete it. So definitely going to be a scary point in time for Brandini when that's actually completed.
He is playing this bot lane as well, much, much safer. Bjergsen without enough time to roam down, dealing with Froggen in mid, and Brandini's been able to stave off what kills actually got TSM very much ahead in game number 1. Haunter looks like he's going to get locked up, popped up, and knocked down in the end on this one. A 3v1, a bit too much And that's only 26 seconds for him. TP is up to get back.
Yeah, pretty far up there without proper vision in the river. So he is going to get taken down. Nicely done by Echo Fox to pick him off. Fortunately, they couldn't give the kill over to Mash. Would have been nice to get that onto the Callista. Wasn't able to really get involved and pick that up. But they are going to look to try to pressure the turret. I mean, the turret is very low, so they want to try to knock this one down. But they know Bjergsen can roam top. They know everyone else is missing on the map, so they do have to show that respect over to TSM. They can respond to this fight. And it's a pretty straightforward one. The ward not actually spotting Lee Sin go into the bush, so Hanser thought he was backing off with plenty of time, but the ward was just misplaced a little bit. Had it been a bit further out, he would have actually spotted entering that brush, and maybe he gets away. Either way, it's going to be tough, I think, as Arcadian still had his flash and everything and could have committed that too.
Again, Tracker's Knife for him, so the team can keep the vision on the map, but that is won now by TSM this game. Svenskerian's Elise in this early game has been a bit more abundant from lane to lane, maybe not with the pressure, but kind of finding out and tracking Acadian to make sure TSM has that macro.
Yeah, certainly trying to do his best to fight for vision against Acadian here, and both junglers are going to be going that Tracker's Knife. And it's always really nice on Lee Sin because it's both kind of the offensive and the defensive option. Yes, you can get vision, but you can also use these wards to actually pull off your aggressive plays, and that's why people pretty much always will go for this. You used to see people sometimes go like chilling or challenging Smite, and then get a Sightstone with it, but that's very, very rare these days.
That's a very early adaptive helm from Bjergsen to come in. Interesting buy.
I mean, it's going to work
Still
against
gonna help.
Corki, with the Gatling gun, also
Equalizer.
With the Equalizer and all the rumble damage, plus some of those repeated rockets, I suppose.
Oh, chomps him up. Not what's for dinner this time. Looks like he should be able to get out. His ult's just about to wear off. They may be able to finish him if Fate's Call is pulled in, just to be sure, as they had that timer as well on the side of Fox.
Yeah, they were hoping they didn't have to use it, but they end up having to expend both of the ultimates. So some of their playmaking ability is down. TSM is pushing, and the Rift Herald has been dropped. They're actually TPing at the same time to the bot side. They're going to try to pick off Brandini. This is the two-man solo lane play that TSM always is going for.
Fighting right on top of it. Bjergsen with the adaptive helm. Is he healing? No, I'm just kidding, but he's absolutely not taking any of that damage with his early shield. Hanser are able to pick that one up. There's the Bash Brothers squad of Bjergsen and Hanser to Brandini in the side lane, just like game one.
Yeah, and I mean, Bjergsen, he uses the TP, but he still has his rank 2 ultimate.
Yeah.
So he can actually utilize that to get back to mid lane if they were looking for a fight, or he can utilize it again later to repeat that gank. And you also saw how he backed off and wasn't trying to get the last hit for the kill. Wanted to donate that over to Hanser, and TSM looking to start up this turret. Will be able to knock it down as Fox backs off.
Yeah, they try to adapt here by sending Frog in top, but saying don't get engaged on in mid. It'd be very scary if we do. It seems like they hold off and engage themselves. That's the ultimate down for Gate still. They felt like they could get maybe leaving kills as TSM were going to straggle out one by one.
Yeah, I guess they were hoping that TSM was more kind of staggered on their bases. Maybe that some of the people had already backed off, but Gate goes in. Mash cannot save him with the Fate's Call. Both those ultimates were down from the earlier play, and that's just a free support kill donated over with the Mountain Dragon coming up. So TSM could look to make a play around this. Hanser's on the top side, but has his TP, and Bjergsen coming from base has the hero's entrance.
Scryer's Bloom sees everyone but Gate. They know he's actually just basing from that fight. And it looks like this Drake.
TSM can take this fight, though. I mean, they're going to walk in, and this could be a tough exit for Equifox. We'll see if they can get out.
Froggen just used his Valkyrie to try to dodge out that cocoon, so he's actually in a bad spot. Flash forward, headbutt pulverize. That's Svenskerian coming back down. Great job by Bjergsen to absorb the front of the fight, and Biofrost as well. Fox hasn't been able to find too much, but TSM is also kind of left with nothing on this fight. Dragon does go to Fox. TSM may not stop. The red carpet's laid out. Coming in from Brandini. Are they going to fight on it or fight around it? Double lift now in the front. A very scary spot. And Hanser takes that place for himself.
Really well played fight from both sides, actually.
Yeah.
TSM so much patience playing around the Equalizer, avoiding that. And Hanser, though, may get picked off here. He's trying to get out.
Everybody's going to get out in time. Bjergsen with no pop-up on his entrance. And again, they absorb a few more of the ults. It may make it safer for Fox to stay a little longer.
Yeah, you can see how effective Gate was against Bjergsen on this Galio, actually headbutting him out multiple times when he's trying to channel up that taunt. So doing a good job denying some of that crowd control coming in.
Actually a really nice lock-in. We always see the you think of a Kennen, you're like, oh, Janna's good against that. But you haven't really seen that Alistar-Galio matchup, and it is working fantastic to keep him at range of that time. He gets a little bit of armor for himself, Glacial Shroud, as well as that cooldown. So Bjergsen stacking up a lot of just very helpful utility items for himself. He's going to be big soon.
Yeah, I think he can go straight to the Frozen Heart. There's double 80 carries on this team.
Right.
Using that attack speed will be very, very effective, and it's not going to be bad against Cadian by any means. So a super strong item, and it does get you very heavily up there in the CDR, so you can make those plays and you can look for those roams a lot more often.
And the Andries, a bit more ability power for Brandini. His equalizers has actually been very good throughout these games. And making sure he can keep himself at least the top of a situation that goes wrong. And Knight's Vow already coming out as well for Cadian. He's had it for a bit, but now they get a bit more safety for their team.
That's an interesting pie. You rarely see Cadian go for those kind of really defensive, supportive builds on someone like we've seen this early. Most players are just rushing towards a Black Cleaver, especially with a couple early kills on the team. But I think this build makes a lot of sense, especially because you can have Gate go for a Knight's Vow as well. I think that the build you want is you want one Knight's Vow for Frog and one for Mash, and you actually double Knight's Vow these 80 carries, and that's extremely, extremely strong. Because if you can keep Froggen and Mash alive in the fights, that's your sustained DPS. Yeah. That's your ticket to really winning the fights. And it actually does make you quite a bit tankier too, not just because of the stats, but because you're getting healed for a percentage of the damage they deal. So it's a very effective item.
Look at Bjergsen, he's ready to take up Brandini.
For the engage.
But they aren't down there. They're in the mid lane. Gonna be hard to take down Biofrost. Puts on that hardened skin, but he is going down in the end. Bjergsen a little late to get to the fight as they were going to try to take down Brandini on the bot side.
Monster
and
trying to
that
dive
is
here.
Still actually happening. Brandini did make his way to the lane, seeing that fight, thinking it was safe. And once again, rinse and repeat, going after him. Fox is going to keep getting more, though, off of this.
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue to push. If they can't, I say this is very good for TSM, and this is the combo we expected them to go for. This is the combo they are emphasizing. Now a couple kills onto Haunter, and he's going to be at that tier 2 very soon. No one is responding from Echo Fox yet, so could be tough.
Spider right in his face. Couldn't get that shot off. Haunter is going to stay as well for his fight. And that's Gate going down very slowly. There's Brandini finally back to base. What does TSM decide to do off of this? It's going to be Fox grabbing the vision so they know if it is going to be a Baron.
And Haunter, not only does Bjergsen help him get that kill, he gives him solo gold on both turrets, it looks like. So much gold going the way of Haunter, and Bjergsen really focusing on getting him ahead. Here's the play in the mid lane once again. Nice engage from Mash. They're looking for Doublelift, but Doublelift is playing it pretty far back, and they can only actually get over to picking up Biofrost since Gate didn't have his flash available, and then kill on Biofrost. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, Haunter, such an easy setup. You land that, you hit the ultimatum, he cannot exit at all. So the Galio ultimate comes in for free, burn him down. Bjergsen just starts heading back to the team. Solo gold on that turret, solo gold on the second turret. Now Haunter has gotten a lot of gold into this build and going to be working towards likely that Titanic Hydra. Could go for the Ravenous as well, like Brandini did last time. Yeah. Most people will go for Titanic just for that kind of added tankiness in a team fight. Because Ravenous Hydra leaves you very squishy.
The Talia, the Galio, almost kind of saw it in the Xerath when they tried to get a little bit of long range out of Bjergsen, but him being able to go back and forth to the side lanes is just controlling the macro for TSM so well as they now start to jockey for the top side of the map.
Echo Fox needs to start Baron now because they're not actually answering Haunter, so their only option is to start up the Baron. They need to try to get Haunter to TP to this fight. If TSM can push them off without him coming, he will just go for the base, but instead they're going to TP him in. They're going to look for the fight.
Equalizer down. Gate says, I'm going in first. Froggen puts himself right next to Haunter for the Hextech ultimatum. Froggen getting help from Acadian. They kick back Haunter. The kills are coming in as Biofrost is low. Doublelift flashing over the wall, put himself in the middle of the fight with the rest of the team. If they're all there, they're all going to be safe, and they start picking up the rest of the kills. Mash, the only one left, and Doublelift with the triple kill. And the ace on Echo Fox.
They do kill Spence Garen, but it doesn't matter. There's no one left alive here, so they're just going to start up this Baron. Biofrost can simply Tahm Kench ultimate right back to it, and these guys are eventually going to knock down this Baron, I think. I don't know if they're calling it off, deciding that they can't do it in time, because Brandini does have his teleport, so they want to be a little bit wary of that.
Can't wait to see that again. 10 flashes. Look at the cooldowns. Almost blown at the exact same second.
It's an explosive team fight. Again. But look at that burst out on Double. Frog gets such a good chunk, and this gives them the confidence that they can take the fight. The equalizer thrown there over onto Double almost burns him down, but no one from Echo Fox can actually get to the backline. Bjergsen buys a lot of time, zoning Mash out, kind of pushing in here, and then as these guys start getting lower, they flash in. It actually, was that a kick over onto Galio, over onto Froggen? Looked like
they kicked back Haunter from that position of
So
Froggen.
it was just the flash then. The flash taunt over onto Froggen. As soon as he goes down, the fight is pretty much done. But Double is full commitment going over that wall.
It's a heck of a lot of damage from Sven Skaren. He got all the spiders, that volatile spiderling in there, the entire team damage.
It's pretty rare that you see Rumble out damaged. As we're gonna watch Brandini get outscaled.
Just a bit.
Feels bad, man. It's at that point. There's not much he can do in the 1v1. He needs to know where Haunter is, or he can't be out there like that. You have to be by a turret. You have to be with a teammate. This is the goal for TSM this whole game. Get Haunter to the point where he cannot be 1v1'd anymore. They have arrived in the late game. And now Haunter are going to be knocking on the door of this inhibitor turret. Someone has to answer him, or they're just going to give up that turret.
Looks like they gave it to Froggen. Acadian's going to make his way towards mid. He said, let's put the crowd control together. Maybe they can kick one of these members back. Hopefully not being Bjergsen, but they're going to kick right to the faces of Echo Fox, not even giving Acadian a chance. Gate, close to going down. Winds of War sweeps the rug out from under his feet, and Acadian's going to be the next one locked up by the Deadly Flourish, gets himself to a safeguard. And this second tier turret goes down. They didn't even need Haunter to really start this one off. He just flanked to boot.
Yeah, that's a great dive from TSM. As soon as Froggen shows up bot, they execute the dive. They know that one man is dead, one man is bottom. That makes it a 5v3. The clean engage there from Bjergsen makes it an easy couple kills, end the turret, and TSM getting even more gold in their pockets. They have vision control around the Baron, and they definitely are in full control of this one.
Could be just about time to do the dance. I don't believe they'd go to take it. I mean, Acadian can fly over the wall. They already know about losing Barons within this series, but this fight, TSM did not wait.
Yep, as soon as you see that show of Froggen on the bot side, Sven Skaren with a really nice cocoon, threaded in there, nails it onto Mash, and the dive is underway. They take out Gate. They've already killed off the bot lane, and that means the turret is easy pickings here for TSM. You're going to be able to knock that one down as well, but it's Echo Fox looking for a pick.
Relentless. That could be the way Fox gets back in.
Oh, they're going to keep going for more.
A great repel. Gate misses on the Fate's call as he was pulled in by Mash. Now the answer. Hextech ultimatum to the bot lane, and he's going to get pushed out immediately. Haunter has to get the safety. Bjergsen goes in. Two-man taunt, and the back line is trying to deliver over the shoulder of Bjergsen's tank wall. Brandini gets himself into a sticky situation, and Echo Fox cannot control the late game fights.
Yeah, Brandini was split off from the team, and now TSM is going to continue to chase, knock down another member. The first pick goes to Echo Fox, but it's TSM that comes out on top.
Cleaning up the waves now in the mid lane. It's just going to be TSM feeling pretty good about the map pressure they have. A few more setups like this, and they will be fully inside the base of Echo Fox. Echo Fox, though, not giving up. The moment they have a bit of vision to themselves, they'll use that advantage. We just saw it.
Yeah, they definitely got to keep looking for these plays, but TSM TPing in both members.
Oh,
they're looking to catch Froggen, or maybe even Acadian.
Is that the TP into the ult? The Galio ult is actually down. Bjergsen just walking over, so he gets to kind of tango with Froggen for a little bit, but Fox is so all sorts, they can't even react to one play like that.
And get the kill out of Acadian. Now they can go to Baron. They'll go straight over for it, knowing that it's not a 50-50. The jungler is already down. We'll see if they can secure this one with Sven Skaren.
Gonna say yes.
Unless
Gate comes in, Mash can't get any javelins. Bjergsen says you're getting taunted or you're not getting any closer. Baron goes down. They're actually able to turn on the fight. A few members left. Straggling for Fox here. Could be the first ones to go down. Fate's call keeps Mash alive. Haunter again to the back line. One objective for him. Disrupt what's happening in the back for Fox, and he keeps doing it. Bjergsen's able to follow up just after, and TSM full control of this game now.
Yeah, TSM, such a nice play there. Big item completions came in. They got the Ravenous Hydra. They got the Stone Plate. A lot of big buys came through. They executed double teleport play, kill off Echo Fox's jungler, and they're able to transition that into a very easy Baron and then a team fight win, and now They are so far ahead. They just need to play patiently.
Yep.
Give Haunter time in his side lane. Brandini does have the teleport. There's no chance he can 1v1 anymore. So really the only way TSM loses this is if Echo Fox finds, you know, like a 5v4 play. They just need to play patiently and not get engaged on, because it's thousands of gold ahead just on Haunter. Like, he's 3 levels up and so far ahead, and this is good target selection from Haunter. Go for the jungler. The follow-up comes in from the Jhin root there on Doublelift. The ultimate came in from Biofrost, like collapsing from all sides. That was really, really well done.
Head towards the top.
And I mean, once the jungler is down, they know they can go straight to Baron. Echo Fox doesn't feel that they can give it up, so they're trying to actually challenge and hope for some sort of a miracle fight. But TSM able to actually zone them out pretty heavily here. Bjergsen goes and plays blocking duty along with Biofrost while the rest of the team closes this out. And then Bjergsen stone play into the middle of the team fight. He's just going to take almost no damage in there, and just no way that Mash can actually punch through this massive front line. And Haunter really playing this very well against the heal tactical sweep, and now they're diving on a Brandini. He lost half his health in a hit.
That was ridiculous. Haunter coming in with that Triforce hit, and his teammate being finished off, able to just shred down Brandini, even through a scrap shield. TSM toying on the front doorstep of Echo Fox's base here in Game 3, just sub 30 minutes. Gate, being the tankiest one on the team, keeps starting these fights at 10% health when his ult goes off. And that's just not going to continue to help here. They need to be the ones initiating. TSM just won't give them the chance at this point.
No, they definitely won't. They're pushing in. I mean, Froggen's still very strong. He has a lot of farm here. He is on 3 items, but he needs more. And Gate's going to go in, but I think that's a one-way trip.
Froggen's actually about 100 gold up on Bjergsen and could put out that damage. He just needs to be able to get somewhere on the front line. It's so scary.
They did burn down Sven, so they at least got the kill on Sven, that Deathfire touch, and equalizer damage coming through. And even though he got eaten up by Biofrost, he goes down, so that buys them some more time. And they are trying to get to this point where they're really, really strong. We'll see if they can actually make it there.
Weather the storm.
I mean, it's just so tough, because even if you win these team fights, the scaling just kind of goes more and more in the favor of Monster in this side lane. And we've already seen Brandini can't even come close in a 1v1 now, so it's only going to get worse for him.
Yeah, he got it. Sven Skaren got Dragon. So looking at what they can do, Fox has that building up equalizer. Looks like it's going to be a Void Staff next. And might be able to lay that down just past Sven Skaren and Bjergsen. Don't worry about what they're going to do. Make sure Doublelift has to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Maybe eaten up and spit back over the equalizer, but you're denying him some of his damage. You just need to buy those few moments.
And hey, I mean, if you can get the Void Staff on Froggen and Brandini, that's a big deal, right? That's a lot of extra damage that's going to be coming through for the team. Maybe then you can start to hope to burn through this front line. You know, once Mash has his Lord Dominic's, which just got completed, and once Froggen has his Void Staff, that gives them some kind of penetration to actually maybe kill Bjergsen. Because for now, he's pretty much untouchable.
Is this the kickback? Acadian almost looked like he wanted it. Froggen from the side. A good hit coming in from Gate, but Bjergsen not taking much damage. Acadian doesn't get to look at the fight as he gets soloed by Sven Skaren on the side with a bit of help from the team. And now the hits on again to Gate, going down at the beginning as the biggest one on the Rift. TSM has the priority in their eyes. Now it's Froggen. Hextech Ultimatum drops him down, and it's going to be Brandini following quickly after TSM putting the final touches as they go to the bot lane.
Yeah, push it in through bot lane. The inhibitor's already down. That is going to be that for TSM. They're looking to take it 2-1 over Echo Fox.
22-7 overall on this one, just getting over that 30-minute mark. Mash doesn't want to get eaten up by Biofrost, and TSM getting taken to 3 games on this one by Echo Fox will find that yellow brick road and head all the way to the Nexus. Taking it down, they take down Echo Fox 2-1.
Good finish there for TSM in game number 3, playing very well. Really, the bot lane, I think, shined for TSM throughout this series. Always seemed to get very, very far ahead. We saw Doublelift have a great game, but a lot of it just comes down to how the solo lanes are playing for TSM. The fact that Bjergsen is constantly going to the side lane, putting Haunter ahead, and that Haunter had the scaling advantage in this 1v1. meant that once Bjergsen got him enough ahead, there's nothing that really FOX can do to actually match him in that 1v1 and put them at such a disadvantage on the map that TSM is able to utilize that.
Right, I think FOX identifying that kind of early game they can find a foot in the door. It comes from playing their own game. The Blitzcrank play, back to the Camille up top for Brandini, doing things in the early game that TSM is usually, you know, scrimming against other teams where you're in the laning phase, right? These two teams were the lowest percentage of first turrets taken. So for FOX to do things in the early game probably threw TSM off pretty dang good.
Yeah, I mean, especially because FOX had not been having those successful early games in the last couple of weeks. They had been struggling, you know, bringing out some different support picks with the Blitzcrank and the Alistar, trying to mix things up a bit. The Alistar certainly not that effective though, as 0-7 and 5. For Gate, he was having a rough game, and Brandini definitely having a tough one here on the Rumble too. 1-7, definitely